Friends.
Are these the right sides, or do I need to switch stuff around? Am I good to start?
We're ready, Escargo.
Alright,
ready.
Aiden, is your team ready?
Bro, let's play, bro.
Hi, Sagma.
Hey,
Aiden, are you guys ready? Are all the end games set?
Damn, did Lena Bros get dropped?
That's Brennan's call. Brennan's in our party. It's Anthony needs to turn his on. Super needs to turn his on.
I didn't even call our hand cam on now, so we can just start it.
Alright.
I think Dom wants to play. He's snapping me. Let's do this.
Just turn them on. Just turn them on. We have ours on, so just turn yours on.
Alright, I'm gonna start it at the 23:30 mark.
Chill. No. We don't have cams on. Chill.
Yeah, that's fine, bro. Don't worry about it.
Oh, alright, bet.
Yeah. Alright.
We're ready.
Alright, starting in
set up because
5.
you guys, whoever wants this shit, you guys still have
3, 2, 1.
Oh my god.
Good luck, guys.
15.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We've got losers bracket finals of the AGL Summer Bash tournament. Beamed You versus Corrupt Reality. These two teams, I don't think they've actually faced off against each other, but we do have a fun match here on Oregon. To talk briefly about the history of both of these teams, Beamed You actually has spent most of the time in this tournament actually on the upper bracket. So should be trying to recover here, but they did just have another match, a very tough one, where they lost 7-2 against Mercenaries. The winner of this will face Mercenaries in the grand finals of this tournament, so that's going to be a really tough matchup. And obviously, Mercenaries is likely watching this quite intensely, considering that they are facing the winners of this. I'm sure that I think that they're hoping that it's going to be Beamed You, considering that in that case, Beamed You would have to play 5 maps. Almost 5 maps, so at the very least 4 maps in a row without any breaks, really. So that's what they're looking for right now, and we'll have to see if that's going to actually occur. But to talk about the other team, actually, Corrupt Reality, they've had a bit of a rough go of it. They got knocked into the lower bracket by Beamed You, in fact, 7-5. Don't know what map that was on, but is a bit of deja vu in that these teams are now facing each other, both in the losers bracket just now in the finals instead of in the winners semifinals, which is where they first faced off. So based on that past interaction, I think Beamed You might win it 7-5. I think that's what Mercenaries is hoping for. I don't know what anybody else is thinking of, but that's just a quick profile really on these two teams. And just to say something very quickly about reality, corrupt reality, they are aggressive and almost arrogant. They're certainly confident. If they get into a position where they're in a heavy lead, they will start memeing. So I don't necessarily want that, but it would be very fun to see that. Anyways, onto the bans and also actually onto the match, but bans look fairly stereotypical. I mean, nothing out of the blue really, business as usual. In other words, got the Mira and Maverick bans. This is a strong Mira map, though that may change next season with the changes to Miras and Maestros, the Shattered Glass mechanic, which I personally think is useless and unnecessary. And then a Melusi ban. Melusi likely will be less banned next season as well, considering that they're making her gadget not bulletproof, which I think is gonna really make it difficult to play her. And then Ace has always been a strong operator. Ever since he entered the meta, ever since he entered comp, he was very strong. And then even after he lost the one ping on his Selmas, he's still quite a valid and quite a effective operator, really, to actually bring for Heartbreach. So that'll be interesting to see how that factors in. But all four of them are fairly strategic bans. I think we might be seeing something a bit closer to a frag-heavy match here. And to speak about frag-heavy, we already have Cryptid showing off the FO12 on Ella, so already a pretty low utility. I almost inverted that and said yo utility, which isn't even a word. But what is actually a word is the FO12, and just don't know what that's really going to be bringing outside of fragging power. So I think that's the game plan currently of Beamdew, and Beamdew has to be, considering that they're only at the beginning of this match. Obviously, this is going to wear on. This is going to continue with time. It's going to become more of an issue, but still, the fact that they are coming off of another matchup on Oregon against what the team that's now in the finals, I'm sure that they have to have a lot of things on their mind, considering that this is either they win this or they go home, really. And this is on the map that they just lost to the team that they would face in the finals should they win this. So you can see the Habana there of Saturn trying to push forward, has yet to find anything, but is certainly eyeing it, as Oslos will be the first one to fall, taken off of T2, it appears, by TB and Aiden for the first kill of this matchup. The Thermite there turning into a fragment just a bit. Actually, an EMP gonna go out there from Super, as Saturn looking to open up that wall into Attic, as you can see Jedi Joey trying to push forward here. The legendary Sledge player does a frag grenade and trying to get something. I think he might have gotten some utility on that wall. Will obviously offer an opportunity to Team and Aiden to actually open that up, considering that they don't have any vertical on it. Not yet, it appears. They could have put somebody below, such as the Ace of the Ash, pardon me, of Antified. Same letter, just different operators. Completely different in purpose and in role, I'd say. Typical now going to be in charge of holding down this main dorm side. So you can see EMP and a Thermite charge from Aiden will go through there on the game wall as they now look to push through this master side, and they've set up the sort of classic pincer here where they have 5v3 actually, thanks to Typical falling there. TB and Aiden, however, is down, not just yet, but has been down. Sugma looking to finish him off, will smoke him out. So 4v3 now. Spotting actually Super, presumably Romer will be down and out though, thanks to Jedi Joey. And there goes Antified, actually traded almost by Cryptid. 3v1 as Jedi Joey gets the actual trade, and Saturn will close out the opening round with a kill onto Sugma. That'll be 1-0 here for Corrupt Reality, and what a messy round on both sides. I mean, just absolute chaos once the walls got open, specifically that game wall. There was nowhere left really for Team to anchor in, at least feel safe anchoring in, so that resulted in them just collapsing really under the pressure of Corrupt Reality's push, and I think that that's what we should expect from them here on maps such as Oregon. And admittedly, this is defender-sided, so it's a bit interesting to see first blood and first round go to the way of the attack, but obviously doesn't exactly mean much. Could just be that that's the way that cookie crumbles. That's the way that these two teams prepared, is that one was more ready for that attack than the other. So it will be interesting to see how, in terms of lineup and in terms of playstyle, BMG decides to respond. But looking at what they have here,
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused.
I mean, you got the Wamine Jaeger, sort of that classic combination. Oslos as the bandit, once again, going to provide some well denial. They do have a Cade on available. They haven't brought it yet, which is a bit odd. They could bring it and actually put that, you know, vertically, such as on that sort of area above attic wall, but oddly enough, not going to actually do anything with that. Just bringing the Bandit. Maybe they're looking to Bandit check. I'm really doubtful, but I don't see a reason why not to bring the Cade, considering that all the Bandit batteries can do is sit on the floor, while there's a lot more variety and placement of Kaid Electroclaws, however you want to pronounce it. And then the rest of the lineup is the same. I mean, you got Oslos on the Bandit, like I mentioned. Sugma as the Smoke, and then Cryptid as this Ella. Cryptid, I think he subbed out from the last match. Don't remember who exactly was there in his spot before, but Roamer, Slows, Typical, and Sugma, all the same from the previous one. So let's see. Just trying to make something happen here, actually. Just trying to start up a push. Pardon me, would be Corrupt Reality. Looks like they're looking for some sort of pincer? I can't exactly tell, considering that it's quite early in the round. But we'll have to deal with Roamer there. Obviously, on the roam, it's in his name as the Jaeger. Bring in the sort of classic Roamer, I'd say. EMPs as well as some Hibana Pelt's going to go out, but Cryptid will pick off Aiden. And that's the diffuser as well. Obviously, it's outside, so can't exactly hold it, but still, damage has been done. He took down one of the two, actually, hard breaches there of Corrupt Reality. Super will trade him, but the damage has been done. You're trading out a hard breach for an entry fragger or somebody with such low utility as Ella. I think at this point he would have used all his utility outside of bullets and a knife. So, really, quite a big blow there for the attacking team of Corrupt Reality. Zadorn does have access, as you can tell, to attic side, and that's what they're gonna have to do here is push the attic side, considering that all they have is 6 Hibana Pelts left. That's enough to basically make a prone hole. 4v3 as Jedi Joe will actually throw a frag in and take Sugma. Double kill there from Super onto Typical. It's Oslos and Roamer in the last 2 left. 3v2 Oslos will take down Jedi Joey. Roamer holding an angle here onto Trophy side. Might have to deal with an attic push though, as obviously the other 2 members of Cryptriani are on that area. Oslos sends out a Nitro to no avail though. It won't get anything. As you can see, Roamer holding the angle here, waiting for Amplify to push in here. He is setting in Trophy. Nice and comfortable there. Oslos watches the angles as Roamer's down. 1v3 now, 2v2. 1v2 technically, considering that Roamer is down. Oslos will pick off Amplified. Looking for the second here, potentially on his Zadorn. Super is in a position to plant if he wants to. 2v1. And 3k from Oslos. He'll take down Zadorn since it's just Super. 1v1 here against Oslos. 4k on the line for Oslos. And Oslos with the 4k to tie it up early on. 1-1 between Beamdew and Corrupt Reality. My oh my. I don't understand why in a 2v1 a team would not go for the plant. I understand that that's not normally what Corrupt Reality does. They're not really a team that goes for plants a lot. But still, it's a good way to make it a lot more likely, a lot easier for your team to win the round. Because then all you have to do is just hold one thing for 45 seconds instead of going for a kill, instead of having to win a gunfight, which you're eventually going to have to get to win, presumably, but still, it's easier. But I guess that's the way that Corrupt Reality likes to run, and whatever floats your boat for them, and it worked for them, so can't exactly complain. At least in the first round it did, and then last round it sort of didn't. The big part was that Aiden, which is part of their core, I'd say. Him, Super, and Antified, I'd say, and then maybe even Joey. Those 3 or 4 sort of form the key members of Corrupt Reality, so losing, you know, your Fragmite, losing the Thermite in general, especially without him getting a single Thermite charge down, a single one of his Brimstones, really makes it difficult for you for the rest of the round, considering that you don't really have enough to afford anything else. Since the Hibana only has 18 pellets, even if you stretch it really thin, you're only going to have, what, enough to get technically 2 crouch walls? Which isn't a lot, and those are going to be slim crouch walls. And I'm going to have to multitask real quickly. As you can see, a basement defense here by Beamdew. They're not going for any sort of extension into Blue Elbow. They have just reinforced that. It would be interesting to see them attempt it. They don't really have what I would expect them to have for it, though. They don't have the Wamai, which is usually synonymous, really, with that sort of strategy of holding down Blue Elbow. They do have the smoke, so they could very well bring the shield. They just don't. They just decided against it. And the other interesting absence is a Goyo. You normally see Goyo played on this objective. Usually you'll see a highway shield, which we see now is just a normal shield instead of the Goyo Volcan. And then the other one is oftentimes around this pillar area to create a sort of strong point here at the back of Boiler, at the back of Pillar, whatever you want to refer to it as. But interesting enough, absent, even though it's not banned. So could have brought that, I think, instead of the yellow. But Cryptid is eyeing something here. I know that he's looking for a flank potentially. He doesn't really have a lot of intel that hasn't been taken away from him by Corrupt Reality yet. As you can see, Antified will be down and out thanks to Cryptid on the stairs. Surprisingly enough, will pop off 3v5. Romer gets a kill of his own onto 8, and now potentially 3v4. Super will gun down Oslows. Now, man advantage still favoring, and there you go. Jedi Joy will actually neutralize that man advantage in favor of Beamdew, and now just brings it back to a simple 3v3 even number situation here. Frag Grenade goes out, doesn't really get anything. Don just scares away somebody. I don't know exactly who, considering the Cryptid is actually in kitchen. I don't think that Cryptriani realizes that he's rotated around. He's looking for something on the lobby side, but obviously it is barricaded, so you have to make some sort of noise in clearing that, and I think that that's why he's just going to fall back to site now and turtle with the rest of his team. We'll have to deal, however, with some pressure there from Super. Will be taken down by Typical. And it's just to remove the Thatcher, those EMPs wiped off the board, but at this point I think it's a bit late to be trying to make an impact by taking out a Thatcher outside of just removing him. It's gone and getting the man advantage for his team. Jedi Joy now pushing forward here. Spots the smoke of Typical, gets his head taken off. Saturn and Jedi Joy versus Sugma Encrypted. 2v2, 30 seconds left in the round. Time favoring the defending team of Beamdew here. Saturn going to push forward, trying to find somebody along the shield, but just find some shotgun shells from Cryptid. Saturn will fall. It's up to just Jedi Joey. 1v2. Looking for something. Will spot. Sugma takes him down, but trade from Cryptid will go out. That'll be a 3K from the Ella. And a round for Beamdew. 2-1 now. Against Corrupt Reality. Oh, that last round, I mean, just a frag fest. Cryptid managed to do surprisingly well on the roam. I mean, he didn't really get a flank, but he certainly punished them for ignoring him, especially in the late round. And they just played it smart. They played for time. They traded each other enough that they got the man advantage or managed to keep it at even for themselves, and that's the thing that they needed to do. That's the way that they needed to play it, really. So, I don't know what to tell you at this point, but it's just looking really, it's looking quite down the middle at the moment, since we have been having a relatively even matchup. Obviously we're early on, so can't say a whole lot about patterns, can't say a whole lot about it being one-sided, but it's 2-1, so this could be the pattern that emerges. Son, it's too high. Yo, who are we voting for? Snippin'? I don't even know.
10 seconds left.
If you're a fan of Mercenaries, you should vote for Beamdew. If you're whatever, I think Corrupt Reality might come out on top. I don't know exactly. It's gonna be close. This isn't gonna be something that's really one-sided. As you can tell already, it's 1-2. And we're only at 1-2 because we went 1-0, 1-1. So it's not as though one team had an opening rally or anything. So I don't think we're going to be seeing a whole lot of runs or rallies by either team here on the map of Oregon. As you can see, first floor defense by Beamdew does require some sort of vertical presence, which is exemplified by Romer here. He still has an ADS on him. I don't know why. I don't know what he's going to be doing with that. He might just put it above, but at this point you kind of need to put it down because it's going to be a waste if you die with it still on you. It's not as though he carries it around on his back or anything. As you can see, the Sophia here of Team Aiden will try and push forward. I don't know that there's any reinforcements above to help. You know, Romer just gave that up. We can actually run no to Zula. I thought he was about to run up the stairs again and try and retake it, but I don't think that's the plan of action that he's going to go for. They are holding down below. They're putting 2 reinforcements below. I don't know why. I know that they have the security extension here, but I don't think anybody's going to try and pick you off of dropping that hatch 5v4. Though Saturn will pick off Roamer, gets rid of the Roamer. Beamju now 5v4, and essentially a 5v4 site collapse as well. EMP will go out now. As you can see, Thermite Charge from Anti-5 will go through. Sugma picks up Aiden, looking for the second maybe. He will down. Super does not kill him though, and is certainly looking for it. As you can see, the Frost of Typical will finish him up. It's now a 3v4, potentially a 3v3 situation. Typical will be lowered, presumably from Jedi Joey, who is actually located above. Does not have the hatch. They only have Antified really to get any walls or hatches here open. Jedi will scan Frost and is going to put some pressure on him, presumably from the vertical. They can obviously certainly scare him that way, but I don't think they're going to actually be able to get much materially done. And Jedi Joey looking for something on the armory side, but Antified will be Frost mattered. I don't know how he didn't spot that, but tried to slide into that sort of kitchen default and was put in a Frost mat. Now has to get his way out of the bear trap with some teammate assistance. 1v4, though, kill. Actually lined out there onto Saturn and Antified. It's up to just Jedi Joey here. The legendary one, trying to find something. 30 seconds left. Will spot the Frost of Typical, takes him out for a 1v3. Then again, he doesn't even have the diffuser. Has 25 seconds left, and he's in a 1v3 situation. Quite reminiscent of past matches between for both of these teams. Most likely, Jedi Joey will try and rotate down the stairs, looking for something. Swung by Cryptid, and the Ella once again plays an influence on the round. It'll be a sight sweep for Beamju, now 3-1 over Corrupt Reality. And my oh my, this is looking increasingly concerning for the attacking team. Admittedly, this is a very defender-sided map, not 100%. You know, it could always flip to the attack, but still, this is a map that usually will favor the defending team. In this case, Beamju, and Jesus, it is looking really bad here for, at least so far it's looking bad for Corrupt Reality. They are down 3-1. They have 2 rounds left to salvage it and get at least an even split, if not a 4-2 split against them, which is what is sort of expected, one of those two. But this next round, or the 6th round, if this ends up going against them, this is a round that they need to win, I'd say. They will be going to top floor, which is a site that is hit or miss for Beamju. They have lost it once. They lost in the opening round, but ever since then they've been a rock wall on the defense. They've won this site, so they are at 50%. Looking to actually improve that to 66% instead of just a 33%. It'll be interesting to see how successful that is, and it's going to depend a lot on how this anchoring in this sort of Z here that I'm actually just scrolling over now. As you can see, attic and then back attic / tarp, whatever you're going to refer to it as, and then this sort of game main dorms. That's going to really define how this match goes, how this round goes, because kids in Big Window haven't really played that much of a role in how these two teams attack or defend the site. Sure, Jedi Joey tried to frag somebody in the first round, tried to put some pressure on it, but nobody ever actually steps inside from that window. If somebody does, I don't know what to tell you if you let somebody step through that window, other than you need to work on your anchoring. But it's going to really depend on whether or not this two walls get open. Jedi Joe take down Cryptid though, and there goes the Ella. The top frag of Beamju will be taken off the board, and that's not the best sign here for the defending team. Jedi Joe will be lowered 5v3 though, as Aiden will actually take one down. In this case, Sugman. There goes the smoke there of Beamju. 5v2. Aiden gets a double kill onto Roamer. What is he even doing? There goes the Legion. Those goo mines now stuck, unable to really generate anymore, so not looking so great here. 1v5, Saturn will take down Typical. Oslo's the last one left. We'll get one on Jedi Joey. Aiden, goo mine currently, I don't know why I'm pointing that out to you, but Slows looking to clutch this up here. Has half the round to burn, and Aiden gets the 3K and the round for Corrupt Reality. And when it came down to it, when they needed it the most, Corrupt Reality able to clutch it up, able to win a very strong round there. In fact, a nearly flawless, a 1v4 at the end for them. So They did what they needed to do, and now they're eyeing a, at worst, a 4-2 split against them, but they'd be on defense. So it's not the end of the world for them. They are in a position where they can recover, and they could even get a 3v3. We're probably going to play Corrupt Snippin'. That's a fun little tidbit.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
And now onto the final round in this first half. We have, interestingly enough, you can see a basement defense here by BeamJu. They have won on this basement before. They are 1-0, so they could very well end up winning it again. It's just going to depend really on the key factor for this site is going to be the Roam of Cryptid. He got picked off early that last round, and it led to Cryptid winning. So if Cryptid can stay alive, and especially if he can get some kills here with the FO12, if he can show up and show out for his team, then they could win the round. Because not a lot is happening strategically for Cryptid outside of they're not roam clearing. I would say to an extent that's because Cryptid isn't forcing them to roam clear, but at the same time, they are just ignoring him. They have ignored him all this time unless it's getting an early kill on him because he's doing something silly. But it's going to really depend on that. 5v4, actually, Aiden will take down Cryptid, and once again, there goes the Ella early on the round for a man advantage favoring the defending team, and they truly have Meeting Hatch is soft. The other two hatches are reinforced, but Meeting Hatch, the hatch leads to E-Box and makes it easier for teams to push blue. And is one of the key parts of attacking that blue side on basement is soft. I am perplexed, to say the least. I'm also perplexed as to how Cryptid died, considering that now makes it a 5v4, and he didn't even make an impact on the round, which is now twice in a row where he's been, I'd say, inert. Or rendered inert, really, by Cryptid. As you can see, Corrupt will get access to E-Box here. They do get the E-Box hatch. Do still have to clear out Pillar, potentially, considering that the Jaeger of Sugma is anchored in there, actually in Harry Potter. So you can see EMP is going to go down, actually, from Super, trying to make something happen. Does have a drone to help him out. They have 8 drones. All 8 drones of theirs are on the field right now. 7, 6, and really using the intel here to get them these rounds, to get them the advantage, and that's the key part right now, is that, I haven't seen a lot of intel play from BeamJu, and that's coming back to haunt them. 5v2, Zadern gets the double kill there onto Romer, and those typical will fall at the hands of Aiden into the Just Sugma, and Zadern will take him out for a flawless round to close out the first half, 3-3. These two teams have tied themselves up here on Oregon. At the end of the first half, scoreboard check for both teams. 8-4-7, 6-0. Top frag of Corrupt Reality is Jedi Joey. 5-6-4-2-1. Top frag of BeamJu is 6-4. We are almost back where we started. We are at 3-3, so we are technically closer to the end than we are to the start, or about the same, or about halfway. Might be a bit further than that, but in simpler terms, and another way to think about it is, especially considering the way that this has been played, which is really frag heavy. I think we've only seen one plant stunk by Corrupt Reality in that entire time. Maybe even not a single plant. We're now essentially at the length of a ranked match. Whichever team wins 4 rounds here wins it. So I think that might be a simpler way to phrase it, considering that we are now at the 3-3 mark. Pardon me, it appears that we're going to have a relatively by-the-book setup here by Corrupt Reality. I mean, they got the mute to cover the walls. They don't have any electric, but they still have the mute, so they can cover walls. They have that sort of dynamic duo, in that they do have Jedi Joey as the Mozzie, as I would have expected from him. Super bringing some intel gathering with the Echo drones, which is going to be really annoying once they get turned into the after death mechanic. Should that go through test server and make it into live, and then Saturn bringing that sort of ubiquitous Jaeger, trying to potentially slow them down. And looking at their setup, I mean, they got a 4-man. Oh, they actually have a. That's interesting. They have a vertical extension below. You don't normally see that. At least not here. I haven't seen that before. I've seen it in Chalet. I haven't seen it actually in Oregon. And thermite charge already going down. 45 seconds in. Less than 45 seconds, and that wall has already been opened there. 4. Team 2, 4v5. Romer gets the first kill of the second half onto Saturn. We'll wipe out the Jaeger there. And that's what they needed to really open up this round. Getting the entry kill. 4v4, those Aiden will trade him out. Takes down Oslo, so loses the Zofia. Not the Zofia, the IQ does lose the RED scanner, but I think at this point they've gotten what they really need to get, and they obviously have Sugma to cover what they can't really achieve. They have the EMPs, since that hasn't been banned. I mean, they're in a fine position here. Antified will be lowered. I don't know exactly how, but it's brought down to pretty much revive health, which is not the way that he wants to be, considering that he has the smoke. He needs to stay alive, at least until he uses all his utility. As you can see, 4v3, Antified doesn't care that he's at low health. He'll take down Typical, and there goes the thermite there. Now, all that really has gone the way of Beam 2 4v2. Aiden will get a double kill on a Romer. The other AS operator will get a frag. Now looking for a one on the big window. He could potentially get it. Cryptid is on that big window side. Sugma on the opposite side of the site is trying to push Trophy here. Will need to deal, however, with Super over in Attic, as you can see, holding an angle. 1v3, pardon me. Sugma will get a kill on the Super. Does take down the operator holding that Attic side, which would have been, as you could tell, the Echo. Jedi Joey looking to actually nitro through the floor, or at the very least nitro the floor, right where that sort of default rotate is. Sugma will push in here. EMP goes out, looking to take down that smoke there. Doesn't realize he's prone, though, and Antified. One shotgun shell is all as you need. We'll take down Sugma. That'll be the round for Corrupt Reality, 4-3. For the first time, I think, in this entire matchup, they've actually gotten the round advantage over Beamed You. This has been, admittedly, this has been close, so I can't exactly say that this is one way, it's going one way or the other, but this has been fairly down the middle. I think it's favoring Corrupt Reality slowly but surely, but still. And now, going into the 8th round of action, we're going to see a basement defense here by Corrupt Reality. Looks like they're going to be going for a blue heavy hold. I mean, obviously you can't exactly tell, considering that this is what they have here. But they do have the smoke, they have the Jaeger and the Maestro, and the Aruni is what really sells that to me, but they could obviously go for something more towards the freezer side. And already the prosthetic there of Aruni, that sort of passive ability coming into play, does allow them to sort of remodel the site without even taking up any shotgun shells. Obviously, doesn't cover as much ground as you would with a shotgun, but can still get the job done if that's what they look for. And they are setting up some sort of sideline here on the other side of that wall. I don't know why. A bit confusing, considering that that's just going to reveal reinforcement. And that might be glitched. I can't exactly tell. As you can see, I was for the most part right there, looking for a relatively heavy towards blue side. They have sort of E-box angle that I was expecting them to set up, considering that the Aruni was rotating to that area. Actually enough, they have this pillar wall open to allow a sightline from pillar stairs onto actually supplies, so that might affect the round later on, especially once, if so when Beam 2 decides or succeeds at taking that pillar side. But until then, I don't know what exactly is going to be happening for the setup here of Corrupt Reality, as that's a lot of their utility on that side. A lot of ADSs, the smoke, obviously the smoke shield, some reinforcements, some sight lines, and pretty much half their team is playing on that side. You have the Aruni, actually in E-box, he'll take half of his health away Alright, he'll give half of his health away, pardon me, to Romer there, who's actually playing in Blue Elbow. Romer will push forward now, trying to take out the smoke of Antified. Needs to be cautious, though, considering that he has a shotgun. Doesn't care, though. He'll take down one. Looking for the second, as Super will actually pick him off. And it's now a 4v4, even numbers. But the damage has been done. Romer traded himself, and admittedly, there's not a lot of vertical play he can do with the RED scanner. He traded himself and a pretty good gun in the G8 in exchange for 3 smoke waves. That is a big trade in favor of Beam2. 4v3 though, Super will actually get a double kill on a typical. 4v2 will get a 3k now onto Sugma, and my oh my, what is Beam2 doing here? They gave up their secondary support and their hard support there to a Maestro, just sitting in Blue Elbow. How did they not clear that out before going for that wall? It's just, all the Corruptriani did was stack up a bunch of utility and 3 players on one side of the map, and somehow Beam2 seems inept at clearing it out. 4v1, Saturn will take down Cryptid and teaming at Aiden. We got a double kill onto Slows. Almost got a double kill. Got one. Thought he got a second. I was incorrect. Just takes down Slows. That'll be the round there for Crypt Reality, and they are finally breaking away. This is the first time in this matchup where we've seen a team actually get more than a 1-round advantage over the other. So surprising to see that here for them. We'll have to see if Beam2 in the next round manages to collapse that or not, but that's going to be sort of the bellwether here for these two teams especially for Beam2, is if they can win this tertiary site of Meeting All in Kitchen from Corrupt Reality. If they can, they're back in the action, and they could very well, they'd have a difficult time admittedly, because they're now down 2 rounds, and they'd have to face one of the stronger sites with only 1 round before match point of Corrupt Reality. But if they don't, it's 6-3, and they're back on the strongest side of Corrupt Reality. So this is a round that essentially is must-win for Beam2, and then the next one is strongly suggested that they win, considering that they would have to go to the stronger 2 sites, and Beam2 is at 5, so they could just put it away there. Not Beam2, Corrupt is at 5, pardon me. Getting the names wrong, but one of the things that I can say is correct is that we do have a Meeting in Kitchen hold, and personally, I prefer this site over Dining and Kitchen, considering that all your vertical is on one floor, is on one building. So instead of having to have some sort of presence, or trying to have some sort of presence in small tower to worry about most of Dining, and then somebody else on the main building, the main part of the building, to worry about Kitchen. And instead, it's all just attic into kids, so it flows a lot better on that vertical side. And vertical is the key, really, to holding this objective. Is you need to have 2 above, 3 below. You need to be able to successfully hold this vertical for at least a minute, if not a minute and a half, so that way you can deny the ability of Beam2 in this case to play that vertical for as much as possible here. I mean, they have the proper materials. They have an ADS, they have the reinforcements, they have a mute jammer as well, which is going to be really difficult for the defenders to access, considering that, oh my. Aiden, I think he's punching himself. He just shot his own mute jammer. Jesus. Was trying to get a sightline below, and he does get it, but still, I mean, wow. And 2 thermite charges actually go down, both of them being used by Typical, and now that's going to open up this side of the site wide. Nearly 4 Beam2. They have attic. They have the ability to enter attic, but it's going to be difficult considering that, as you can tell, Saturn holding an angle. Typical will be down and out thanks to Super there. The Echo on the objective, able to get the kill. Sugman will be lowered, not up to yet, but has been brought down some. Jedi Joey, though, will be taken out by Romer. It's now a 4v4 even number situation, but those 2 walls being open into the vertical and obviously the main objective means that it's going to be difficult now for the defending team to properly and safely hold this. They don't have a lot of safe anchoring positions. They have sandbags still. They have the bomb chassis. They technically have this sort of area here, but that's going to be risky, to say the least. Now the castle barricade there that had been set up earlier in the round by Jedi Joey is now being opened up by Sugman. Will finally open it up, but obviously gave the sound cues there to Super. And Super will be taken out by Cryptid. Cryptid has the Finka. I didn't even realize, but jeez, that's a really oddball pick. And manages to get an oddball kill through V3. Actually, Aiden will get one on the Romer, but Sugman will trade him out. And now man advantage still favoring Beam2. Slows this down, but could very well be revived. We'll get the Finka surge back up. Cryptid is running sausage as well. 2v2, 1v2. Oslos was traded. Saturn there for Sugma. Damage has been done, though. It's up to just Antified. He has 3 smokers left. He is off site, though. Needs to deal with Cryptid with a Sausage. And Sausage beats the M5. 5-4. And thanks to some interesting choices in operators, the round will be saved there by Cryptid. He got the revive on his teammate, which allowed him to trade his other teammate Sugma. Got the kill there on the Saturn. And from there, you know, won a gunfight simply because he had the shotgun and he was closer range. So it was really odd, but it managed to work, and I think that that's what matters here for Sugma and the rest of BMG is then whatever by any means necessary. That is their MO currently. Is I don't think that they care that it's really odd that they're bringing a Finka shotgun. It looks silly. It's probably not the best choice. But if it wins them rounds, if it gets them kills, which is what they currently need, considering that they are essentially in a frag fest against Craft Reality, then so be it. I think that either they need to step up their fragging power here, which is what they're trying to do with Cryptid, and he's been doing work and going 8-6 as their top frag by actually 2 kills between him and the rest of the pack, really. Sugma and Oslo, the next 2 people behind him, with 6 each, so does have a bit of an advantage over the rest, and has been doing work for his team, and that's what matters currently, that he is able to carry his weight and then some. Durag changed their name. Okay. This is Durag Crypt Reality, yeah. I think Durag still exists. I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, I mean, Jedi Joey, Antified, Saturn, all 3 of them are members of Durag, or have played with Durag at one point or another, so it's interesting to see them now on Corrupt Reality. I was surprised not to see some of the more traditional members of Corrupt Reality. I'm gonna need to check their roster to remind myself of who's on their team currently. So I'm gonna do that very quickly. Let's see. So I was expecting Youth Your Nate verifies Chris. Do have Rose apparently on their roster. On a side note, they have Slimy on their roster too, so this could be new Durag. Oslos will try to push forward here for his team. Romer as well with an angle, and I think this is the strategy that needs to be employed here by Fame just aggressively try and push on his side. Saturn will be down, not just yet, but has been down. I think Corrupt was taken off guard by this. As you can see, they don't really have any. This is the downside, though. I think Cryptid had the ability to bring frags, but he didn't. They don't have any soft breach. They don't have any way to open up a softball. They don't have any way to destroy that shield. 5v4. Aiden will take down Sugma, and that could certainly come back to haunt them. 4v4, the Oslos will take down Super. And now, even number situation, could go for a plant here, but I think it's a bit risky considering that not only do you have Nitros from a low, obviously from Jedi Joey, and also from Aiden. Aiden just blew his, but didn't really do much. Trying to actually take down one of the members of Beanju over on Trophy side. Presumably Romer, considering he's now rotated to Master. You also have to deal with the, to an extent, the smoke. You could obviously clip his smoke through that wall and stop the default. As well as now Aiden, he's rotated onto site. Cryptid, however, will just guns Aiden straight down. I don't know what Aiden was thinking about that matchup, but I think he regretted the moment he realized he swung a Finka. Now it is a 3v3. Antified will gun slows straight down. Blows his head off. 3v2. Jedi Joey will get a frag on the Cryptid the Freak. Now 2v2. 3v1, pardon me. Saturn will take down Typical, so it's just Romer. On that Finka search, 2v1, he'll take down Jedi Joey. Nitro is still deployed, but doesn't matter, though. Nobody can detonate it. Saturn, though, able to detonate and execute when he needs to. That is the common trait between the two teams, is that when they need to execute, they execute. 6-4 now. Win or go home. 4. Beamed you. They're down by 2 rounds here. They need to win 2 in a row. They need to win basement and potentially another basement, or basement and then a first floor. But for sure they will need to win at least 1 round on this secondary site of Corrupt Reality. And when Corrupt Reality went here, they didn't do anything super fancy. They didn't do anything super well either. All they did was that they put 3 players on one side of the map. They just put somebody in pillar, somebody in E-box, somebody in blue elbow. All they did was put half their team in 3 rooms on the same side of the map, and they managed to make it work. Because even though they lost the smoke, even though they traded an IQ for a smoke that had 3 smoke waves still on him, in some of the opening moments of the round, simply because BeamJu made a bunch of blunders and failed to clear out Blue Elbow before trying to take E-Box, or failed to even cover their Thermite while he was taking E-Box wall. Super, which was the maestro in that case, all he did was just walk up Blue Elbow and make a play by getting the two most important players on BeamJu, which was Sugma as the Thatcher, and then the Thermite of presumably Typical. So all they have to do is just take advantage of the mistakes of BeamJu, and that is one of the key things, is that both of these teams are making some mistakes. I think BeamJu is making more mistakes, but Corrupt Reality, all they have to do is just capitalize on BeamJu, and then they can win it. They are in a position where they would be, if they do win this next round, they would face Calvert Mercenaries. I'm going to check the bracket to see if they've actually won against Mercenaries or lost against Mercenaries before. Jedi Joey takes down Romer, stops the rush. He'll stop a second one. There goes Sugma as well. And that'll be the diffuser down. All Jedi Joey has to do now, obviously, at lowish health, is at about 25. Looking for a third, potentially does scare Typical. Typical, however, will down him. 4v3 will kill Jedi Joey. But damage has been done there. Aiden will put up a Surya gate there. Puts up 2, in fact, on the laundry side. Damage has been done, though, to BeamJu, and severe damage at that. I mean, you'll lose the man advantage, especially this early on. 4v2. And Aiden will take down Slows. Looks for a second. He'll get it onto Typical. Except it just crypted. 1v4. The game on the line. Saturn. Guns straight through the wall. And that is it. Corrupt Reality books their ticket to the finals against Calvert Mercenaries. 7-4 against BeamJu. Alright. Well, that's all from me. Corrupt Reality prevails over BeamJu in actually a rematch from earlier in the tournament. 7-3 versus last time they met. 7-5 in favor of BeamJu. Finals best of 3 should be coming up soon on Ascension Gaming League Twitch. The main channel will be casted by the Chief HR Officer, Anthony and Terry. It'll be Corrupt Reality versus Calvert Mercenaries in a best of 3. Thank you. Have a good evening.